So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And we get straight into it with our team news in straight away with Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, Dina, Kamara, McGinn, Evan Gassand, Morgan Rogers, Emi Buendia, and Ollie Watkins in the starting 11. Substitutes: Marco Bizot, Pau Torres, Victor Lindelof, Ian Matson, Lamar Bogard, Jamaldine Jamaloba, Harvey Elliott, Jadon Sancho, and Daniel Mallon. So there's a lot of strength there on that bench. Paddy, how are you, first of all? And secondly, what do you make of that team?
I'm good, thanks. Just want to start by saying rest in peace to Matt Baird, who passed away yesterday. Very sad, at 47 years of age. Puts everything else in perspective on a day like today when we're all worried about a football match. So regards to his family and all of the Aston Villa women's players who pay tribute to him today. He was obviously a really good character in their life. So, so let's put that in perspective before we give out about a team sheet, because, you know, it's while it's very important to us today, there is more important things happening in the world. But, look, it's a strong team. It's probably as expected. I don't see how he leaves out Elliott and Sancho, but he has a habit of doing this when players come to the team. They're obviously Premier League ready. We know they've played many Premier League games between the two of them. I personally would have started them today and left out Gasson and Buendia. I don't think Gasson is ready. I believe the other two are ready. So that's the only change I would have made. Possibly Matson in there for Dina, just to give it a little bit more in attack. But the team is definitely not anything unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's anything unexpected there. Harvey Elliott, I would have started Harvey Elliott. I would have no problem playing Evan Gassand in this team. Elliott instead of Buendia, maybe. Swap Gassand over to the left-hand side, maybe play Gassand through the centre, play Gassand. You know, you'd have that flexibility and fluidity there that you could use. I see in the comments a couple of people saying this is a team not to lose. I don't really agree with that this is a team not to lose, because I would say if it was going to be a team not to lose, you play Lamar Bogard beside Kamara, you play McGinn instead of Gassand, and you go that way would be my view of playing a team not to lose. But the big thing for me again here is that if like I think the only change I would make, and it's kind of a look, it's kind of like look at Dean hasn't been bad this year. He wasn't bad last year. He hasn't been bad the year before. But I need to see more from my fullbacks in this team. I have to see more from my fullbacks in the attacking build-up, because it's pivotal to Unai Emery's tactical success, and we just haven't seen it. That was my rant after the Palace game, I think it was my rant after the Everton game, and I think I mentioned it after the Brentford game as well. Like, the static nature of our fullbacks is just it's massively noticeable. It helps the other team because it then means that all they have to do is just funnel everything inside, and then 2-3 players then in the middle can be looking out for Buendia coming across the formation, or for Rodgers picking that ball up centrally, or then even if you move a Gassand out there, they just leave him out there because they say, right, yeah, cross that ball in. Who are you going to cross it into? A 1-on-4 situation. So for me, that's the fullbacks have to be imminently better. They just really have to be, if we are to get out of this. And I know a lot of people are saying, we need pace. And yes, with Ian Matson, you get that pace. I don't need people being able to run fast more in this team. I need people being able to move the ball quicker in this team, specifically from our fullback positions. And that's going to be my bugbear. That's what I'm going to be harping on about until I see it, because it's something for me that's noticeably different from probably about October of last year, probably about nearly a year now. We've moved the ball slower in the fullback positions, and I want to start. I want that to change. I want that to change today. But look, it's an away game. I was expecting a lineup like this in an away game, because as we know, we're not a good away team, and Unai Emery does go more conservative in away games. And if you're expecting somebody to completely just throw it out the window overnight after seeing it for 3 years, it's not going to happen. I think that's just really my thoughts on it really at the minute. But the firepower is there. Let's just say, and I know once again it's all predicated on Aston Villa going 0-0 at halftime, or even 1-0 up. A lot of firepower on the bench. But can we go in 0-0 or 1-0 up at halftime is the fucking $9 bazillion question, Paddy. And I don't think anyone's confident answering that one at the minute.
Yeah, and that's probably why I wanted something a little bit different today. Like, for the second week in a row now, he's gone out with 9 players that he didn't sign himself, which it makes me scratch my head a little bit. And I'm not doubting him. We've had this discussion during the week. But you look at the bench, with the exception of Bogard and Jim Aloba, that everybody else is his signing. So it's just a bizarre stat that we've got 2 players on the pitch that Unai Emery signed. He's 3 years in the job, but it's also a testament to him of the results he's got out of the players that were there before he arrived. So, but I just can't understand why, after 2-week international break, another week on the pitch, that we haven't got Jadon Sancho up to speed, that we're not putting Harvey Elliott into the team. Does he see them as somebody who will come off the bench and make all that difference? I don't know, but I do believe it was time to maybe rest Rodgers and just give him a kick up the arse and get him firing going into the busy schedule we have over the next couple of weeks of Thursday, Sunday. But look, we've trusted him this far, and I'm not saying I don't trust him, but it does make me scratch my head a little bit. Again, we expected Maatsen to be in there. I've no problem with Luca Dean in a defensive role. Just Maatsen gives that little bit more in attack. Look, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but it is a little bit of head scratching, and no big surprises in the Sunderland team if you want to have a look at it.
Yeah, there's certainly the one player in that attacking 4 I wouldn't be taking out of the equation there is Morgan Rodgers. And just go back and watch the preview that we did, and that's the reason that I said everything I needed to say there. In that, I'm not going to repeat it. So go back and watch it again. But I wouldn't be taking Rodgers out of there just specifically because of because I think that people have been too quick to make rash allegations against him about downing tools and not wanting to be at the club. I think that's absolutely nonsense. But
I don't think he's downing tools.
Everybody's entitled to have their opinion and say it, but I'm also entitled to say that I don't see it in any basis of fact.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's too many saying he's down tools, but it's just not working for him at the moment. But look, he's been given another chance. Maybe today is the day. Easier opposition than last week, we'd have to think. Team just come up from the championship. It should realistically be a good time to have a go off them. They have had a mixed start to the season, but we need points on the board. We need 3 points today. There is no excuse if we don't come away with three points today. So let's get behind them and see what happens. Yeah, there's the Sunderland team.
Interesting.
I think it's exactly as it was during the week.
It is, but it's still interesting in a lot of ways because I thought that Dan Ballard would be fit to go and he's not. So they've gone with Alderete in the centre half position as well. Like, just to go back on something there. Actually, I'll get towards it at the end. It's just about managers and manager perception. I think in the league at the moment, which is very it's very interesting to look at. But this guy, I couldn't even tell you what the Sunderland manager's name is. I can never remember his name is. Is it Regis Lebris or something like that, or Brie? Is that him? In my mind, I close my eyes and I go, Sunderland are managed by Will Still. And I know they're not managed by Will Still because he manages Southampton. But I could not draw. If I had to be given, if somebody came to me and said, we will give you 6 million euros if you could draw a picture of the Sunderland manager, I wouldn't be able to come anywhere close. I couldn't even tell you what color hair he has. I just have a mental block against him. But he's doing a decent job. He's doing a really good job, and they've got some really good players in there. Obviously, Granit Xhaka, Siddiqui, Talbi, Rig, Lefay. That's an interesting lineup that they have there. And they've got some people on the bench they can bring in there as well. And Brian Broby, somebody who I really, really like as a striker. They've got Adingra from Brighton, Hertruda in there as well, and also our good old mate Uncle Bertie is there on the bench as well, Bertrand Traore too. So they've got a lot of horses in the barn, just like we do too. But the big one for me is Dan Ballard, who's been really their talismanic. He's been their Tyrone Mings at the back, and maybe we go out and we're able to spring a surprise there. Maybe we're able to attack those two centre halves early. Like, no matter what you say with regards to that team, there's a hell of a lot of new players in there. They've gotten some results. As we mentioned, they've only led for 40 minutes total in the league this year. I know Aston Villa haven't led at all, but that's beside the point. So can we really say that the chemistry is there with that team? Can we really say that they've gelled straight away? I don't know, but the only way we'll find out is if Aston Villa put them under pressure. And again, I can't answer whether they will be able to do that, because we've not seen anything remotely like the Aston Villa team of the last 3 years play this season at all. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting watch. But the one thing I will say is you're going to need to get the ball right in the corner to score against this goalkeeper, because he's really good. He's a really good goalkeeper. He's been really impressive so far.
Yeah, they've done well to hang on to him, because there was a lot of interest in him over the summer. I predict today is going to be one of those days where we're frustrated, and they'll keep that low block in place, and with the speed they have in that front four, they're well and capable of hitting us on the break. So we've got to be mindful of that. And as fans, we've got to be appreciative of they're going to make it very difficult for us to break it down. So without an early goal, we're going to see them sit in and just absorb all the pressure they can and then hit us on the break, which is going to be frustrating. But we'll just have to persevere and hope that somehow we found a way of breaking down that low block.
Am I right in saying that Habib Diarra isn't there at all? Arguably, well, somebody who, like, an incredible midfielder, he's not there at all. He's not injury list. Wasn't listed with an injury. Interested to know what the story is there. I just presumed he was there, and I went back down through the team and I was like, no, he's not there at all. So they're playing Siddiqui instead of him, who would have played in that three as well. Who's in there in that three? That's an interesting that's an interesting wrinkle there. Is Talbi gone back into that midfield three? Is Chris Rigg in that midfield three? Is Enzo Lefay in that midfield three? What I'm getting at here is they don't have that huge effort workload player that Diarra is, and that defensive that box to box element that Diarra brings in there. But interesting. But
I'd imagine it will probably be Lefay that drops into that midfield role.
I think so, yeah.
Leaving Rigg, Isidore and Talbi up front. I didn't even spot that he was missing there myself.
Yeah. So that's Dan Ballard and Habib Diarra out, who now Diarra hasn't been pulling up massive trees or anything. Xhaka is the main man in the middle of that. The middle of that midfield, but Diarra not even in the whole team altogether is a huge, like, for me that's a massive question mark for them as to what's the story there. But anyway, that was just
he could have just woke up with an illness or anything today, so
maybe
you just have to accept it for what it is. It's not a game changer by any stretch. We still have a tough task ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Paddy, do you know who's reffing the game today?
I did. Did I not send that on to
you? You know me now, in some of the groups where it depends on what group you sent it in or where you sent it in, because
Sam Barrett.
I've got relations that are Barrett, so I wonder if he related to me.
I'd say your Barrett is spelled a little bit differently as they are here in Ireland.
Yeah,
he's Barrett.
Oh, it's an O, is it? No relation. So
yeah,
can't go look him up on Facebook and say long lost cousin Shane. Was it Shane? Sam? No. No relation of mine. So I don't know anything about him. The first time I think I've ever heard his name, so I have no idea about him.
Right, well, he's been around, but let's hope we're not talking about him after the game, because some of the stuff that went on yesterday, especially with that Liverpool game, giving a yellow card for someone taking a quick free kick and then adding on 3 minutes when there was blatantly 7 or 8 to add on. So let's hope we're not talking about referees today. We need to go and win our own game and keep them out of our mind, hopefully.
Absolutely, I think so too. I think so. So going back to this Aston Villa team, look, I suppose that was an initial reaction. Like, I think this team is absolutely fine. I genuinely don't have any issue with the team. I don't think that like I'll go back to the whole thing. If you're expecting a more expansive team away from home, well then, you know, we haven't had it for the last 3 years under Unai Emery. So, you know, you have to kind of, you're gonna you're gonna drive yourself mad in that aspect. And Paddy, obviously this team that Aston Villa have put out here can win this game today. Like any team from the 22 players that we've registered that you put out, you have to think that Aston Villa can go and win a game of football specifically against a team that's been promoted. And Aston Villa, obviously under Unai Emery, have never lost to a promoted team in the Premier League. Like, so we have to bring that into focus as well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just join in the whole, I think that we're going to get beat by Sunderland thing, because I genuinely don't believe it. And I think that this is a toss-up. I think that while this is a toss-up, it's about who starts the better. And we have to just, you know, there is an element of hope in that. But I think that, you know, Aston Villa have the players still on this team to go out today to win this game against Sunderland.
Well, I call it hope or madness, but I believe we're going to win today. And I believe it's a must-win. I believe it's a must-win, and I believe the players know it's a must-win. And the next couple of games are must-win as well. So we've put pressure on ourselves by our bad start, which is going to make it even more difficult. But I do not expect anything other than a win today. I don't expect a heavy win. It'll be by the odd goal. I think we might need 2 to win it. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win today. But I expect nothing more or less than a win. It has to be.
I've gone with a 2-1 win as well for me. I did it in my write-up that I did for One Football and for Playmaker Stats. I went for a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. Look, I said kind of the heart says 2-1 win. Probably the head says a 1-1 draw and it all draw. But I think that you know, I think it is quite a big deal that Dan Ballard is not centre half for Sunderland today. I think that's quite a big deal. I think it's quite a big deal that Diarra isn't in there because of his box to box nature. Enzo Lefebvre is a completely different player. He's more of a finesse player. He's more of an Emi Buendia type player, except he's a small bit bigger. You know, so he gets on the ball. He gets that ball out of tight spaces. He's got fast feet and so on. You know, that type of player. So it'll be interesting to see how we match up in midfield. I would the one big tactical change I would like to see from us, as I said, not just on the fullbacks, but I'm kind of okay with us not owning the ball in this game. I don't want this to turn into a Brentford game where we own the ball and then, you know, the complacency that comes from that. We're still not good at being ball dominant. That's one of the biggest changes from when we were viperishly I suppose dangerous on the break previously. Now we've kind of transitioned over the last 18 months into wanting to be a bit more ball dominant. That comes with potentially wanting to go further in Europe and so on, specifically in the Champions League. I think that was the feeling, but I would like us to be able to mix the two, to know when to hunker down, to know when to become ball dominant and try and bore the other team. But like, obviously if they park the bus, you know, we need to draw them out somewhere. And I think the crossfield balls or the diagonal balls or passing the ball around in front of them, when you're not getting that full back play, it's just not going to work. You're not going to bait people into it as well.
We got some weirdos in the comments, Neil.
We do. The Tottenham Ranger, go man. We're getting redigated, it seems.
Lucas says we're going to score all this year. So
I know. Lucas said it a couple of times. Oh, Lucas still saying it. Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
He's not saying it anymore because he's gone out of the comments.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right. So anybody want to put in their results or their proposed or their projected results, and we'll go down through them. Before we start reading through those, I think one of the big things here, as I say, is like I can't overstate how good I think this goalkeeper is that they've picked up from 9 million. Never heard of. I'll be honest with you. I know I think he was a Dutch under-21 international, but I'd never seen much of him before. But like the 2 games I've watched of Sunderland, I just thought he was just like I looked at him and I actually Googled him to see what age he was, and I went, my God, you could put 33 in him, the way that he's just so assured and looks so experienced in goal. Really, really great pickup from him. I can't even remember what they paid for him, but a super pickup from them in the shopping spree that they went on in the summer. So we're, as I say, I don't know with that, Paddy, when you see a goalkeeper look that assured. I know when Ilian Melia came up to the Premier League from with Leeds, he looked incredibly assured. And then the blossom came off his bloom, all right, but I'm not saying that this is going to happen with this guy. But I just don't know how you test a goalkeeper that's at the top of his powers or is feeling so confident like that. You try and pepper him with long shots early, see if he drops a couple. What did you put one or two underneath his crossbar? I think a lot of goalkeepers are coming to the Premier League are built for the cross under the crossbar, unless you're playing for Manchester United. Most goalkeepers that have been there haven't been. I don't know how you kind of give him a bit of a sight or a tester early on. I lend myself to believe, have a little bit of a crack and see if we can stick one in the top corner, but we've never really done that under Unai Emery. So it's kind of
lead yourself to believe that, but since John Duran has come out of this team, and other than John Duran, nobody is doing that under Unai Emery. They've obviously been told not to. It's definitely in Harvey Elliott's locker to do it, but they've obviously been told not to do it. So I'm not expecting multiple shots from 30 yards to try and beat a goalkeeper. It just doesn't seem to be part of the plan, even though I do think you have to hit it for every now and again and do something a little bit different. Cash does it from time to time, I suppose, probably more on the edge of the box and in the box than not. But I just don't expect it. But you're right, he is a big unit of goalkeeper, kind of came from left field, not from one of the bigger clubs you expect in Holland. But at just short of 2 meters, he's a fine specimen of a goalkeeper, especially under the cross.
For sure. Just something that I mentioned earlier on about, I suppose, the level of discourse about managers in the Premier League at the moment. I'm just going to get into that before I go into the pieces, the predictions, should I say? Twitter was awash this morning with Brentford fans wanting Keith Andrews out. And the reason I bring that up is apropos of nothing, and it was to do with why I mentioned about the Sunderland manager at the start of this, is that like Keith Andrews has had what I would determine for Brentford to have been a very good start to the season points wise. Jesus, he's gotten fucking a win against us, and he's got points on the board, and because they lose 3-1 to Leeds, it's just turn straight away, and it's like, get him out. Graham Potter, another good manager, not having a great time of it at West Ham, get him out. Wolves are obviously looking for their manager to go too. I just don't know. I think like we're 4 games into a season, and everybody talks about this magical 40-point mark. Look back over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons and see how many times you needed 40 points to stay up. And I'm not talking that about us. I think maybe the trigger happiness of social media and fans with managers. Now, obviously, look, I'm not even talking about that with regards to Unai Emery, because he's been here 3 years. I think like he's got credit in the bank. Potter doesn't have that at West Ham. Pereira doesn't really have that at Wolves. I know they're talking about giving him a 3-year extension, and Keith Andrews certainly doesn't have it after only 4 games in the gig there. But it's just interesting how fast the worm turns, I suppose, in the manager. It's always been fast in the Premier League, but 4 games seems to be a regular enough thing now, specifically for managers. First 4 games happened with Steve Cooper before, happened at Leicester, happened with Ruud van Nistelrooy at Leicester. Sometimes it isn't always the manager, is what I would say. And that's not really Aston Villa commentary. That's just commentary in the league as a whole.
No, and let's face it, more often than not, it's not the manager. And changing the manager doesn't give you a good enough bounce to recover most of the time. If we change our manager, it's going to take 2 years to recover.
I would argue we're the last team that's got a mid-season change of manager bounce to the level that people expect it to want it to happen.
Yeah,
I would argue we are the last team that's done that.
And you're correct. 30, 36, 37 points is usually enough to keep you up. And as I said the other night, and a few people were giving out to me from my comments, we're 10% into the season. We've got 2 points. Our ratio needs to improve, and it's going to improve today with a 2-1 win or a 2-0 win. I'm confident that we're going to score. We're going to score twice, and Tottenham Ranger and the other gobshite that are in the comments if they want to hedge their bets and not know if you're a Spurs fan, a Queen's Park Rangers fan, a Rangers fan. So we'll just we know we're under somebody's skin when they're coming into the comments to have a chat with us.
Maybe so. Anyway, let's go for it here. Kevin Newey's going with nil all with 90% of passes being between the back four and double pivots. Just Roy says 2-0 to Villa, nil all, 1-0 Sunderland, says Tottenham Ranger, 2-1. Oh no, where's this all gone to? Where's
I deleted them.
Oh, you knocked all the rest of my stuff out of there. I've no idea where I was now. Naomi says 2-1. 1-0 says Flange. Dermot Byrne says 3-1. 1-0 says Jake. 1-0 says Dennis. Why the 1-0 loss? 1-0 Villa says Daniel Cove. Lewis says 2-0. Max Hunter 2-1 Villa. Tez Sampo says 2-0. Karma says 2-1 Sunderland. 4-0 Sunderland with a Bertrand Traore hat-trick. Adam, I will buy you a house if Bertrand Traore comes on and scores a hat-trick and it's 4-0 to Sunderland. I kind of stopped there because I goes, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that could happen. Put it this way, I'll buy you a shirt because, I'd want to be going away buying too many houses at the moment. Jake says it's going to be 1-0 Villa. PD says it's 3-1 Villa. LG says it's 3-1 to Sunderland. 2-1 loss, 1-0 win, says Joey. Swampy says 3-2. English with Richard Park says 5-3 Villa. 2-1 says Joe. 2-0 says YBFC. Noel says 3-1. Junior says 2-1 to Villa. Declan Bagnall's gone 3-0 Villa. 2-0 says Richie Ryan. 1-1 with Watkins to score, says Michael. Western Ood says 2-2. Where else are we? 1-0 says is it Green Bin Day? That might be my favorite. That might be my favorite one so far. I think I spotted you a couple of weeks ago as a Green Bin Day as well, and I meant to bring it up. Swampy says 3-2 to Villa. 4-3 says Robert Key. 2-1 says Aaron Cunningham. 3-1 says Stephen. Where else are we? Greg's going 0-all. Bertie's going 4-1. 1-0 to Southampton. I think that one might be 7-3 says Bladnator. 4-1 to Villa, says Tyrone. 1-0 says Kevin Jeans. Peter says 1-0. Wayne Davis is going 2-0 as well. Kevin Doyle is saying it's going to be 0-all. Tony Madden's going 3-1. Paul Miller is going for 2-1. And Fuzz the Duck says 5-1 Villa, and we're ending on that because I love Fuzz the Duck's name as well. Listen, thanks a million, everybody. It's difficult to do some of the team sheet tantrums because we don't really know what's coming. And look, we're morale is at a low ebb, should I say, with the fan base at the moment. I will just say, watch the growth already in my beard after less than 48 hours. Not be enough with that. The beard should be back soon. Yeah, the beard should be back soon. Before
you close off there, Neil, big happy birthday to Gareth McDonough, who's often in the comments there, and Mark Hogan. Huge birthday today for Gabriella Huggins, who turns 18. And I can fucking course as long as I want now because Gabriella is of age that she can listen to my coursing. So I'm glad to hear that she's 18 and I don't feel embarrassed when I bump into her in the afternoon with her father again.
Excellent. Happy birthday to the three of you guys, and let's hope the Villa give you a good birthday present today with a win on the road away to Sunderland. I will be back here, I think. Well, I will be here. I don't think, Paddy, you're going to be able to make it for the post-match. I am going to try and get the phone in sorted out, but apologies if it isn't. Since I've been away on holidays and stuff like that, I took half my Setup Cycle podcast. Haven't been able to dial it in correctly again, and I think, to be honest with you, I left a very pivotal cable in Spain, so I just can't figure out what the hell is going wrong, but I'm going to try and get the phone in set up, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on the performance. If I can, I'll put it out on social media, and we'd love to get you guys to have your say on this as well. But we will see you at 5 minutes to 4, give or take, right on the final whistle, so come please and join us for that. Also, everybody, just before we finish up, I forgot, as per usual, we will throw you directly into AVFC Statos watch along if you do wish to stay. For Dale, you don't gotta quit out of it. You can stay where you are. Just make sure that I flick the switch here so that you guys will be thrown directly over to him. If you do wish to do that, just stay where you are. And when Dale goes live, you will see him pop up on your screen as well. Dale's one of the good guys. If you go into Dale's stream, then he will automatically fire you back into our final whistle stream here as well. So think of this as kind of like your pre-match, during match, and post-match broadcast all in one between ourselves and Dale here on AVFC Status. So listen, thanks a million, everybody, for coming and watching. Really appreciate everybody's time. Even if we don't always share the same opinions, that's fine too. That's what it's here for. It's cathartic. It's getting it off your chest. It's instead you can talk to us, and instead of talking to the wife or the missus if they don't follow Aston Villa. That's what we're here for, specifically in that hour of trepidation before the game. So thanks a million, everybody, for your time and for your presence here. And we hopefully will see you when Aston Villa are celebrating a win after this game. But fingers crossed we get to celebrate a win and have a victory Sunday today, because it's been a long time coming. Thanks a million, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.